Welcome YouTube to another video on this channel. I'm Mr. Ben 809, and today I'm bringing you a video about series and franchises that died on the PS2. These are in no particular order, so they're not alphabetically or in my preference or anything like that. This is just a random list of games I own that I put together that I never seen them again, or even heard from them again after the PS2 era, and the internet hasn't either. Without further ado, let's start this video. The first game I wanted to talk about was Capcom versus SNK. It's one of Capcom's better fighting games. I know that they came out with Tatsunoko versus Capcom and a few of the Marvel vs. Capcom games. It took me a sec to remember because they switched the naming around, so this is Capcom vs. SNK. Marvel versus Capcom, for some reason they switch where the Capcom is positioned on these games. But anyways, I don't know why they didn't make another one of these games. These games are great. I believe it came out for the arcade and then got ported over to the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube. These were great games, but they just don't make them anymore. I never saw 3. I saw Capcom vs. SNK 2001, but I think it's this same game, but maybe little differences. The next game series I wanted to talk about was one that doesn't exist anymore, and that's Army Men. The reason I wanted to talk about this series, particularly the 2 games I own, Sarge's War and RTS. RTS is a real-time strategy game. For those of you who are fans of the RTS genre, you know exactly what that is. For those of you that are not, it's when you have a bird's eye view and you command a small army or whatever. That's what that game is about. And then Sarge's War, it's like a third-person shooter where you play as a plastic little toy. I hate that these games, they didn't come out with more after the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube, because Sarge's War in particular was really fun. When you got shot and blown up, sometimes little pieces of plastic would come off of you, and you would keep playing with like holes in your head and holes in your arm and all this other stuff. I think the last one was really bad. I think the last one was called Major Malfunction or something like that. I think that's the one that killed off this series. But it was really sad to watch this series died on PS2. The next series I wanted to talk about is Rygar. I know this came out on Wii, but it was not the same. The Wii Rygar game was more based off of motion controls and that kind of junk. So in my opinion, this game really did die on the PS2, just because it was the last big hooray for it, or big time it sold. On the Wii, I never even saw it on store shelves, never seen it anywhere, never seen anybody playing it. Not that I've seen many people play this game, but I remember at least seeing like this game on a magazine or something like that, which is a lot better. The next franchise or series is NFL Streets. Now here I have NFL Streets 3 on the PS2 and NFL Streets 2 on the GameCube. I believe this one might be a little more expensive. I haven't checked the prices in a while. I would actually not recommend getting Streets 3. I would recommend getting either Streets 2 or Streets 1. I remember Streets 1 and 2 being a little more funner than Streets 3. Maybe Streets NFL Streets 3 was the one that killed it off. I remember this game is still really good and one of the best football games out there, but the game breakers were a little more boring, and the way your guy moved about on the field wasn't as nice as Streets 2. I think Streets 2 is probably the best one. Um, Out of the three, I would put Street 2 first, followed by Streets the first one, and I would put Streets 3 last. It's really sad because, to my knowledge, we never seen another release on PS3 or Xbox 360 after this one was released on PS2. I do believe it just died with this one, and it's really sad because it was a really good football game, and it offered something else other than Madden, other than your regular football game. Well, anyways, the next game is True Crime. Doesn't have to be this one. I believe both of them died on the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube. That there was this one, and then there was the Streets of LA. Pretty much in one you play a white guy, and in this one you play a black dude. I remember in the Streets of LA one, I believe you could unlock Snoop Dogg, which was pretty cool. I believe you went around collecting bones. Once you collected all the bones, you had Snoop Dogg as an unlockable. I remember this one having more features and being more flushed out in terms of gameplay. But I don't know why Activision didn't make another True Crime, as in this one was pretty good. And as I remember, Streets of LA was just as good. It was a GTA style game that we just never saw again after the Xbox and PS2 era. The next game we're going to talk about, or a franchise series, whatever you want to call it, is the Maximo series. This isn't the only one. The other one's called Ghost of Something, and it's just as good. I would say this one has a little more stuff in it, but the other one is just fine, and it's a really good game as well. I don't know why Capcom didn't come out with another Maximo after this one. I don't think it sold bad. Not that I remember many people having it. Maybe that's the reason. Maybe it didn't get good reviews. But from my experience, Maximo is a great game on PS2, and unfortunately a series that died on the PS2 and that we haven't seen in other platforms since. The next series is the Slugfest Baseball series. Now here I have 2003 and 2006 for the PS2. I remember playing these games with a lot of people, and they were very fun. I don't really know why these games died off or they stopped making them. It might be because I don't think Midway is a thing anymore. It might be because Midway is no longer gone, but I think even before Midway disappeared, which they might still be around, I just don't hear of them as much. But I remember even before Midway became irrelevant, they still weren't really releasing Slugfest games, and I remember these games being fun. I remember you being able to fight, being able to hit your buddy with a flaming baseball and making him walk. And it was real fun. Maybe it was the decline of popularity in baseball that made these games bite the dust. I don't know, but it's sad to see them gone. I wouldn't complain if they came out tomorrow and said Slugfest 2019. It would be a nice game to play. The next series is Time Splitters 2. This also came out on PS2, like most of the games I show here that are on Xbox. They're also available on PlayStation 2. I don't think this is the best one in the series. The one after this is called Future Perfect. I think that one might be a little bit better because it has a flushed out story mode. However, I remember the multiplayer being just as fun. I remember this one being particularly amazing, and I remember this one being the one that was most played during that time. However, for some reason, Eidos doesn't make another Time Splitter, if they're even still around. I do know they made at least one or two games on PS3 because I am familiar with their branding, but yeah, Time Splitters, it's gone now. The next series, it's really sad that we haven't gotten another one of these games, considering the fact that it's a really nice game, and that's the Beautiful Joe series. For those of you that haven't played this, he pretty much gets sucked into a movie. He becomes part of the movie. He can like adjust the movie and do all these crazy things. It sucks that we haven't seen another Beautiful Joe. I think right after this one. After this one, we didn't see anything from the series or franchise. And it's really sad because, as I remember, it was a really nice 2D platformer. Something that the ps2 didn't have, and something that Beautiful Joe was doing very, very right. Just another one of those games that's really sad, but it just died on, I believe, on the system it came out on, and never saw the light of day again. Maybe Capcom might do a HD release, but Beautiful Joe is not mentioned as much as, you know, the Devil May Cries and everything else that has gotten an HD release. But anyways, we're here at our last and final series of franchise that died on the PS2. This one is particularly special to many people because it was a really good combat-based game. We haven't seen anything with combat like this since, I want to say, Dynasty Warriors, and lately Dynasty Warriors has been pretty trash. Those of you who've played Dynasty Warriors 9, you know what I'm talking about. You know, don't act like you don't. If you played it, you know it's pretty doodle. It's pretty whack game. But anyways, that series is Onimusha, Oni. It's this game right here, Onimusha. That's what I'm gonna call it. I know I'm probably not pronouncing it right. Don't be fooled. Inside there's also 3. I just didn't have another case to put it in, so this worked fine. But anyways, the Onimusha series, amazing series. You know, if you're into that Ninja Gaiden, Dynasty Warriors kind of games, Onimusha is amazing. You should go check it out. But once again, it's one of those series. It just died on the PS2. I don't know if Capcom would make a HD release for it. I hope they do. Or they make a Onimusha 4 or whatever the next one on the series would be. But it's a really sad series to have seen, you know, bite the dust. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think of the video. Comment, rate, subscribe. And you guys have a good one.